Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Bongi and thank you so much for finding me. After watching this video, I hope that you'll decide to stay and join us every Wednesday as we talk about true crime cases from all over the world. Today we're going to be talking about the Noah Alba case, which is the case that inspired BRIAN TENCH's case in the Netflix series Mindhunters. If you've watched the show, then you probably already know that the show is mainly based on true events. When I first watched the show, the main subject was Ed Kemper, and honestly, I didn't think it was real, but then I googled it and I was just like, oh my god, it's real. It's real. So basically what happens in the show is there's two guys, Bill Tench and Holden Ford, and they are in the behavioral science unit of the FBI, and I guess they wanted to classify killers or serial killers or mass murderers or people charged with violent crimes or gruesome crimes or repeat offenders. So they were going to maximum security prisons and just talking to serial killers and just people who committed very gruesome and unfathomable just gruesome crimes. And they wanted to know more about their background and childhood so that maybe they could see whether this person was born this way or born to be a killer, or if something happened at some point in their life that led to them being the way they are. You know, it's a nice show. It's crazy, it's insane. I know you guys will love it, especially if you are into true crime. So Bill Tench has a wife and an adoptive son, Brian, and in season 2 of the show, Brian and a couple of older kids kill a toddler and then tie the kid's body to a cross in an attempt to resurrect him. So it was crazy. Honestly, I thought that this was one of those parts of the show that weren't real. But when I googled it, I found out that it was actually based on true events. I was like, this is not possible. This cannot be real, honestly. But again, it was. So today we're going to be talking about the true crime case that inspired BRIAN TENCH's case in Mindhunters. This case is going to be on two brothers, 7-year-old Billy and 10-year-old Bobby. I do not think that those are their real names, because as I kept on reading more about this case, I actually found out that their names, their identities were concealed, and the case was for the longest time not made public knowledge, and people were not supposed to talk or write about it. So I don't think that these are their real names. There's also not that much information about it out there because of the ages of both the victim and the killers. So the two brothers lived with their father, who was at the time a student and a former shipyard worker. Their parents were separated and they were living with their father, but they would occasionally visit their mother. Their father would give them bus passes and they would go all the way across town to visit their mother on their own, and he also described them as pretty free-willing kids. They would normally roam the streets by themselves, walk by themselves, just play by themselves. They were literally by themselves most of the time. I don't know why a 7-year-old and a 10-year-old would be allowed to roam the streets by themselves. They lived in a 4-bedroom flat in Pacific Heights, not too far from Alta Plaza Park. Their neighborhood was a pretty rough neighborhood, and the two brothers had experienced or witnessed people getting mugged, robbed, and stuff like that. Stuff that you'd expect people to witness in rough neighborhoods. And they had also said that they had been beaten up by some older kids themselves. So yeah. When Billy was 5, he fell down an air shaft and required surgery to attach a plastic plate to his skull. Bobby witnessed the accident and was also there watching his brother as he was kind of hanging between, life and death, and, he watched him recover. On the afternoon of the 14th of April 1971, the boys went down to Alta Plaza Park, where they often went to play on the swings and in the sandlot. Melanie Alba, a 21-year-old mother of 2, had also went there with her 2 children, and she was watching them while also sunbathing on the grass. 20-month-old Noah Alba was wearing a green Levi's, so Melanie thought that he was pretty easy to spot. At around 2 p.m., Noah's sister went back to Melanie alone. It turns out that Bobby and Billy had actually found Noah wandering around the park alone, and when the little 20-month-old baby couldn't tell them who his mother was, they decided to lead him through the park by hand, asking different people if they knew who his mother was, but no one did. A witness in the park later told Melanie and the investigators that he saw 2 young boys leading a child by hand out of the park. Bobby said that they then walked about a block and a half away to a spot where he and Billy had been to a couple of times. When they got there, they were just playing and not really doing much, but then little Noah started crying. They tried to get him to quiet down, but he didn't, so they got frustrated. Bobby slapped the baby and then Billy joined in. The crying grew louder and louder and the violence just kept increasing and increasing until finally the crying stopped. 5 days after little Noah's disappearance, a witness came forth and told the police that he had seen that one of the boys who was seen walking out of the park with the child was actually wearing a handball glove. The police spread the news, and a school teacher who knew that one of the brothers often wore a handball glove alerted the police, and so the police went out to question Bobby and Billy. Billy was actually the one who led the police to the dead child. The policeman asked Billy what he would do and where he would look if he was a policeman handling this case, and Billy said that he would look in an alley. He led the police to the alley and then pointed them to a basement door, suggesting that they should try looking in there. Noah's body was found in the corner, tied to a wooden cross, covered with papers and debris, with a bloody shirt laying next to him. It was actually more than slaps that killed the baby. Apparently the boys pounced up and down on him and also furiously hit him with a brick, cutting his head open and exposing his skull. His cause of death was a ruptured liver and internal bleeding. Once the police had discovered the child, the brothers confessed to assaulting him. They said that they were playing with him when a brick fell on his head. They also said that the reason why they took Noah's clothes off, because Noah was found naked actually, they said that the reason why they took Noah's clothes off was because he had wet his diapers, and they tied him to a cross so that he couldn't escape. It was later discovered that they actually tied him to a cross in an attempt to resurrect him. They wanted him back alive. Bobby, the 10-year-old brother, spent 2 months in juvenile detention before the juvenile court judge dismissed the murder charges against them in favor of therapy. The judge ordered them to be sent to a special home where for 2 years they received extensive counseling and psychotherapy before being sent back home to their mother's custody. Their names, like I've mentioned, were also concealed and never made public. Bobby has thankfully gone on to live a very responsible life, working and raising a family of his own. But Billy, unfortunately, he has had a rough time. He had minor run-ins with the law as a teenager and also suffered from substance abuse. As an adult, he has been charged twice of physically abusing children, including his own 3-month-old son and another child. I don't know, maybe because he was younger, this had a way deeper impact on him. Maybe the trauma was just simply too much for him, or or it took a bigger toll on him. I don't know. I just think because he was younger, that's the reason why he turned out the way that he did. But let me know what you think in the comments. I love hearing from you guys literally all the time. All the time. So that's it for today's video, you guys. I know this was yet another short upload, but I promise we have longer videos coming up very, very soon. If you enjoyed this video or found it informative, please don't forget to hit the like button and also comment down below if you have any case suggestions for me. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do, and turn on your post notifications so that you get notified each time I post a new upload. And with that being said, that's it from me to you. I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!